This is Sissi Sun again. Okay, my childhood dream. My childhood dream is to become a polyglot. Okay, why a polyglot? Here's why. When I was really young, I was watching this French movie, and at the time, I was only just beginning to learn English. So I was watching the girls in that movie talking to each other in French, and I didn't understand a word of what they were saying. But somehow, I was looking at them talking to each other, and I was listening to the cadence and the tone of the language, and I felt like that's such a fascinating language. And I can totally imagine myself speaking that language. And I was just thinking, how cool it would be if one day I can also speak French as well as they do, and I can actually talk to my friends in French, and they would look at me just like I'm looking at those girls in that movie right now, and they would feel like, oh my God, I don't understand a word that Sissi is saying, but somehow whatever she's saying is so fascinating to me. That's what got me to love languages so much. And for that reason, for middle school, I went into Shanghai Foreign Language School for the love of foreign languages. And that's actually a school that particularly focuses on foreign language education above everything else. So along the way, I picked up some German and some Japanese. And then the key point the key thing that happened during my education at Shanghai Foreign Language School was that I actually taught myself the American accent. Because at that school, even though it's a foreign language school, you don't really have American instructors, so you can't really get a very good American accent. So here's how I drilled my own accent. I got a lot of Voice of America recordings. And, well, you know, in Voice of America, it's all those journalists talking really, really fast about what's happening in the world. So I played those recordings, and I was copying exactly what that journalist was saying while she was saying it. And that's how I drilled this American accent, and I have to do this every day so that I don't lose it along the way. And then in high school, I remember there was a period of time when I was watching way too much Harry Potter movies, and somehow, because I used to always speak this American accent, and then within a week or two, I'm starting to sound more and more like a British girl. And more than that, I'm behaving more like a British girl too. I'm behaving like Hermione Granger. And that just really just amazed me, because that's the first time I realized, oh wow, a language or even an accent can change a person. It can change the way you look, the way you behave. It can change the way you talk to people. That's so fantastic. And then after that, I went on to college and I became an actor, and I learned that actually, even in British English itself, there are so many, countless different dialects within British English. For example, there's the received pronunciation. The received pronunciation is standard English pronunciation, and is actually utilized by staff members of BBC. And is received by the royal family. The key to speaking the received pronunciation is to speak as if you're a member of the royal family. And the key of that is to speak quite slowly and very, very elegantly. See, that's so interesting. That's a very different accent from London East Side, and even a general London accent in general. And after that, in junior year, I took classes with Tom Jones. And, well, Tom Jones is a Hollywood voice coach, and apparently he also teaches at Brown, so that's how I got to take classes with him. And Tom Jones taught us this Italian accent. So in Italian accent, here's what you do. In Italian accent, you speak with a cadence. In Italian accent, you say, "They say Lorraine is crazy, but can you call her anyway?" Just like that. And there's also the Spanish accent. Now the trick with Spanish accent is that there's so many different Latin countries, and they all speak Spanish slightly differently, and that's why they all speak English slightly differently. So for example, if you're from Mexico, you talk as if you're speaking from side to side. Whereas in Cuba, you talk as if you're speaking from a box. Oh, that's so cool. Like, even within Spanish accent, there are so many different sub-accents that just represents different people from different regions of the Latin American region, and that's like a puzzle. puzzle to me, but that's just like a puzzle that I can spend my whole life solving, you know? And then in college, I also picked up some French and Spanish and Russian by myself. And at that point, I felt like I don't even need to learn French English anymore. I don't need to learn the French English accent anymore, because all I have to do is to speak English as if I am speaking French. You know, par exemple, when you're speaking le French accent, it's très important to adding a little bit of French words, adding a little bit of air. It's important to speak with an elegance and an importance, because it's very important to be a French. Like that. And for Russian accent, it's important to speak like this. For Russian accent, yesterday I was already thinking if I was really a Sarajevo. Just like that. And I feel like at that point, all the languages and accents and dialects that I was learning all became linked together. And every language and accent I was learning so far all added to my cultural perspective. And I feel like I'm becoming wider and wider with every language or accent or dialect that I was learning. And that's just amazing. And I feel like I feel like I've came a long way since the time I was first watching the French movie. And I feel like I'm really becoming closer and closer to a global citizen. And I'm really loving that. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of the cultures that I was learning, and all of their languages, the sub-languages, the dialects, etc. Yeah, and I feel like I'm really happy that I had this dream when I was really young, and I was really happy that I was following that dream. And I think I'm going to keep benefiting from that dream, and one day maybe I am going to become a polyglot and speak all of the languages in the world. Yeah. Okay, anyhow, this is Sissi Sun again. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with me for so long time. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye!